Are you looking to send your players on a monster hunt for Halloween?
Today we're looking at Monster Hunts Ravenloft by Vall Syrene.
Welcome to the Homebrew Crew. I'm Tony, this is Ed, and today we are looking at a very, very special book here, and that is Monster Hunts Ravenloft by Vall Syrene.
I gotta tell you, it is thoroughly unsettling.
It is, but I loved it. See, Ravenloft is one of my favorite campaign settings out of anything. I know everyone's into Witchlight and everything else like that now, and like, great, Feywild, okay. But you want classic horror, you want to do Ravenloft.
That's strong gothic vibes.
Isn't it? Absolutely. Here's the thing with this. I want to kind of put this out there before anything else. Monster Hunts is an entire series, and you guys should check out every single one of them. They are awesome. The mechanics in them are great. But this one in particular definitely got my creeping kind of Halloween vibe on.
And believe me, you're going to see why very shortly.
Well, let's get into it. Let's not waste any more time.
Absolutely.
All right, here we are. This is Monster Hunts Ravenloft, and it is, obviously, the cover artwork is definitely creepy.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. That is unsettling.
It totally is. Now, here's the thing. Nothing can prepare you for what comes next. And this, the one that we're going to look at here is the Ruddervik.
And like I said earlier, I can literally hear this image, and it is not pleasant whatsoever.
So what is the Ruddervik, Ed? I mean, obviously it kind of looks like a human centipede.
Yeah, but so much worse. So Ruddervik is an amalgamation of a bunch of dead bodies, essentially a parasitic plant organism comes together, and it literally fuses these together through this grotesque root system.
It's absolutely disgusting. It can actually grab another dead body that's there, crawl into it, and then it becomes the latter half of it, which is
and as you can see, it's got this creepy eyeball and this weird mouth tail and just a lot of arms. A lot of arms.
It's definitely grotesque. So now here's the thing. Monster hunts are kind of cool, the way they set these up, because it's not just, hey, go kill the monster or what have you. Every monster that you kill in a monster hunt with that has harvestable items that you can then take and then craft magic items and cool stuff afterwards.
Yeah, it's not just a here's a stat block and a description. There is actual additional content, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, and we're going to get into that here, but let's take a look at some of the statistics and some of the stuff of the Ruddervik. Okay, we're going to skip all of the it's got, oh god, no, I'm not going to skip this. 40 feet of movement, climb speed, and swim speed. This thing is death on land, water, and if you're on a wall somewhere.
Yeah, and just real quick, I'd like to point out, as a bonus action, is burst of speed, that it can basically bonus action dash. So you now have 80 feet of movement of this slithering thing coming right at you.
Now, it's got a recharge on a 4 to 6 on that thing, which is not bad. You roll a d6, you're able to get a 4, a 5, or a 6 at one point.
50% chance.
But it does get a couple of interesting features. Regeneration on that, obviously. It looks like it should regenerate.
Basic troll rules, it takes fire damage, it doesn't regenerate any health.
And then it's got severable body parts. And this is the way your players will get ahead in combat, is by actually attacking a specific part of the body.
So essentially they can attack and sever a particular section of the body, reducing the creature's maximum hit points. However, in reverse, if you look towards the bottom, it also has amalgamate, where it can then do the exact opposite, and it can gather a fresh, I believe it's within a day dead body, attach it, and gain more hit points.
Exactly. So the Ruddervik is not helpless in any way, shape, or form. In fact, from all these different things, multi-attacks, bites, claws, constricting, which, let's just look at that again. I don't want that hugging me. I'm just pointing that out. That's
a bad touch.
That's a bad touch. That's right. It does have some natural weaknesses and some size changes and some things in there that you definitely want to look at. But the cool thing about this one is always these harvestable things. So the way it works is you kill this horrible monster, right? And then there are harvesting DC checks in order to harvest certain things. Now, you let your players do this, but when I run these, I don't let more than one player do this at a time with it. Like, okay, one player says, "Oh, everyone has that player, right?" You go, "Oh, I'm going to harvest some roots from it," or what have you.
Yeah.
Great, go right ahead. And then if he fails, and then 4 other people at the table go, "Oh, I'm going to try to harvest roots." You go, no. It's once.
Now, one thing about that is if you look over there, it's requirements. It does say survival. So if a player's not proficient in survival, they kind of shouldn't be allowed to make the roll.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good point to bring up too, because sometimes that happens and you've got like, it's just everybody wants a piece, but no, this is how it goes. And it's cool because if you run a bunch of these monster hunts, there's a bunch of them in this Ravenloft one. Each week you could do something new as far as a monster hunt for your players, and okay, maybe one person is able to do it this week and next week they're not, right? Like there's stuff like that. So let's take a look at some of the things you harvest from this guy. The Ruddervik roots there are used for making the mulch and the focus root. There's 4 magic items that can be created from it. And then you've got your Ruddervik eye and the hide.
And also note they do have crafting requirements. So in this case, you harvest 2d4 roots, but you only rolled 2 ones. So you wouldn't have enough to create the focus root.
Right, you would need 3 roots in order to do that. And even from that, there is a length of time and another DC for actually crafting it, and a requirement for what type of tool you have to have, which is what I love. It gets the whole party to work together to craft these magic items. Let's quickly take a look at the magic items that are here. There are 4 of them. The first one is regenerative leather.
So it's a leather armor, leather studded, or hide. And it essentially gives you 10 hits plus 1 to AC, and then an extra 10 temporary hit points that regenerate, I believe, is after a day? After an hour of inactivity or rest.
Right. And it's again the same kind of rules that the Ruddervik has. If you've got fire damage that's dealt to you, it doesn't regenerate those temporary hit points. It's like troll skin armor.
Which, honestly, awesome.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. The root mulch here is more of a thematic one that you can use, but as you mentioned earlier with it, it could be a good reason to go out and kill this monster.
Exactly. It's not just we have this terrorizing creature. It's like, oh, this typical lazy wizard. It's like, I'm gonna hire out some outsourcing help. They're trying to grow some kind of magical herb that has difficulty, because the effect of root mulch is that it increases the yield of a crop and speed, I believe, as well.
And it could definitely be great for that city that's trying to grow their pumpkins bigger than everyone else, or anything like that. There's also the rotting charm with that, and that's literally the liquefied eye of the Ruddervik.
Yeah, just
what's that second line there?
And it's oddly warm to the touch. And I just
fresh. But basically, it gives you dark vision of 60 feet, or if you already have dark vision, it increases your dark vision by 30 feet.
Useful tool for anybody.
And then the last one, which is the hardest to make because you need 3 roots and you could possibly fail on that, there is the Ruddervik focus root. You want to give a full overview of that one?
I certainly can. This is a magical spring of root is infused with nature magic, bound together in a tight knot. This root can act as your spellcasting focus and has 3 charges. You can spend up to 1 or 3 charges, depending on what you spend, has different effects. 1 charge increases damage or healing by 1d6, 2 increases the spell save's DC or attack roll by 1, and 3 increases the spellcasting level by 1. The downside, however, is that if you use all your charges, you roll a d20, and if you get a 1, it's done.
Right, so that typical rule of if you roll a 1 on the d20, poof, right? But I love the fact that each one of these items are totally themed towards that monster, that they each have their own special kind of thing. The harvesting tables in each of these things are awesome and great. And if that's not enough, Val also gives you a adventure hook and information on it, like why you would want to go do it. There's a whole adventure that's set, and even included in that is maps that you can actually print out for the encounter with this monster.
Which again, if you're just looking like for a quick monster of the week sort of vibe, hey, you have it all right here in front of you, which very useful for a quick fix.
That's right. Now, once again, this is Monster Hunts Ravenloft. This is a Tier 1 Monster Hunt guide there, but we're going to leave a link in the description not only to that one, but also all of Val's Monster Hunt stuff. There's 31 weeks worth of monsters there, and they are so much fun to run. You totally have to check these out.
Absolutely. It's well worth
Well, the other thing we're going to kind of go over here is the fact that we've got a whole month of October that we're doing Halloween stuff.
Spooky season.
Yeah, that's right. It's the spooky season, right? Pumpkin spice lattes aside, we always like to, kind of creepy it up during this particular month. So if you guys have anything that you want to send us that is Halloween related, we'll definitely take a look. Go ahead and send it to dmbrewcrew@gmail.com, and we'd be happy to take a look at it.
And of course, if you like what we do, you want to see more, press the like button, subscribe, make sure the little bell's checked off.
That's right. And remember, the best campaigns are always the ones that are home brewed, and sometimes the ones that are just a little bit on the Monster Hunt side. So until next time,
keep brewing.